Hey everybody, Dr. Sandra Medici here. I am so excited to join you today. It is Friday, and it is such a great day to talk about passion because I feel like there's a lot of people who have a lot of passion. They have something that motivates them, something that drives them, but they never really quite get to it. And I wanted to talk to you today about my book. It's called Passion Pipeline, and it's 8 steps. It's my 8-step method in trying to help you get your passion to the forefront of what you're doing, trying to get it to the forefront and then make it be a profitable portion of what you do as part of your living, as part of who you are and what you do for life. So it is really important that if you have passion, that you really go after it. A lot of times I talk to a lot of people who have a 9-to-5 job, and they're like, oh, but I really want to be doing something else. I really want to be doing this other thing that maybe you call it your side hustle. Maybe it's your gig life. Maybe it's your freelance work, but you really want to make it your number one priority. And so I wrote this book during the pandemic, and I should say I actually used my phone to talk my book into my phone. So I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go in my room, and honey, you do what you're doing. I'm going to go over here. The kids are asleep. I'm going to talk my phone into my book. And so I took 45 minutes to talk all of my ideas out and get them out of my head. And at the end of the day, I had a book, and I ended up calling it Passion Pipeline. This is what it looks like. And it basically is my 8-step method to get you to your goals and help you revisit each of those steps so that you can kind of revisit how to get that passion out of you over and over and over. So pipeline is actually an acronym. And pipeline stands for, I'm going to break it down for you today, practice, inventiveness, pursue, excitement, live inspired, and negotiate energy. And why I wanted to talk to you today about pursuing your passion is because a lot of 2020, we were stuck, and some of us still are stuck and not really knowing how to move forward. And I know a lot of tragedy has happened, and a lot of people have used that time that they've spent alone or in their house for good. And so I want to help you use this time for good. And that means working on yourself and really putting out all that creativeness that you have within, because who else is it going to help if it's just going to stay with you? But if you can share it, my goodness, think about how much we could do if we all just put out the best of ourselves, right? So when I went into writing this book and speaking it into my phone, I thought, I got to get all this stuff, all this creative, thing out of my head and onto a page. And that's really where it starts, is knowing that whatever's inside, if you can just pull it out so that you have it in front of you, whether it's on a piece of paper, whether you've, dictated it to somebody else and they put it on a piece of paper, but you have to get it out in order for you to do anything with it. And so when you think about the first step of Passion Pipeline, that is practice. And that is practicing whatever it is that thing that is your passion. So if you are a writer, it's practicing and getting the best you can be at being a writer. If it is filmmaking, doing all the shots and the location shoots and all of the research that you need on lighting and all of that stuff to get you to be the best filmmaker that you can be. So practicing is the number one step. Then you go into the next step. And pipeline, like I said, is an acronym, and I stands for inventiveness. And that is really what we're experiencing a lot of right now, is innovation. Because there were so many things during 2020 that we had to we have to fix this. We have to be able to get food to people that can't go to the store. We have to be able to talk to people who, can't go to the office. So all of the inventiveness that people were experiencing by actually being in the pandemic and being at home and working remote. That's great. But what are you doing for yourself that can really burst through that bubble and be disruptive and be inventive, right? So you want to create that kind of atmosphere where you can feel those creative juices going. So you're practicing your inventiveness. And then you go to the next P, which is pursue. A lot of times this is where people stop. They're like, oh, I'm really excited. I'm really jazzed about this idea. And I think I've got something here. And then they don't pursue it. They don't go after it. And it might be fear of failure or rejection or something that is stopping you. Maybe it's finances, maybe it's familial obligations, but a lot of times that is the point where people stop. They think, oh, this is a great idea, but I can't do it. I got a 9 to 5, gotta go to work, can't, my schedule doesn't allow, or I might not be good at it. What if I put myself out there and a lot of people don't like what I'm doing, or they don't think that it's good, or they don't buy it, or whatever. So the pursuit is where I want you guys, I want all of you gals and girls, whoever is watching or listening to this, either on replay or live, to say, I am going to pursue my passion no matter what. Because if you don't pursue it, then you don't know if you can make it into something that could be profitable. Okay, so you practice your inventiveness, you pursue excitement. And that excitement is what I live for. I love it, love it, because when you are excited about your passion and you are pursuing it to the fullest, what better feeling is that? Is there out there than actually being excited about doing what you love every single day? Like there's no other, hands down, can't beat it. That's where you like to be, in that sweet spot. And after you do that, so you've practiced your inventiveness, you are pursuing excitement, and then you go into living. And I know a lot of times people think, well, I'm living, I'm here. I'm here, I'm ready. And I see you, Daniel. Thank you for putting a comment. So true. Awesome. I'm so glad you're with me. And a lot of times people think like, I'm living, but just because you're alive doesn't mean that you're living. So I want people to take away from this that if you're pursuing your passion, that you're really living in the moment, living for not just the now, but for the future, like getting everything ready to go and being in that moment where you're prepared for not just luck, but for everything to come into place. That is true living, right? So after living, inspired is the next part of the acronym. So you are practicing your inventiveness, you are pursuing your excitement, you are living inspired. And if you are living inspired, that means that you probably are inspiring other people at the same time. And that means that you aren't just keeping it into yourself. You're not just keeping it all for you. And that is true inspiration. Now, the last two parts are the N and the E. And that means two parts: negotiating and your energy. And if you are a bad negotiator, right? Sometimes that means that you're not negotiating that work-life balance. Sometimes that means you're not negotiating your ability to communicate well with friends and family, so that you need to kind of hash out how you negotiate your passion, how you negotiate those landmines that you have to kind of divert yourself from, whether it's going down the rabbit hole on YouTube or finding yourself saying yes, yes, yes to one thing when you really want to say, no, 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 I need to do something else. You need to negotiate your time. And the last part is your energy, focusing in on what you want to do, what you love to do, what your passion tells you must do. That is the super important thing that I want to get across today, no matter what else, is that when you negotiate your energy to do what you love, then you will put your focus into it. You will make sure that that is what you actually pursue all the time, 100%. Don't fail. You're always putting your most treasured moments are toward that passion. And if you can do that, then you're really coming full circle to that practice, right? Which then creates that energy. And so it's an 8-step method that really does mean that you can come back to each stage no matter where you are in your business or your life, and reinvigorate yourself. And so I wanted to share that with you because a lot of times I feel like we are just in this weird place in 2021 where we're looking back at 2020 going, what happened? What happened in 2020? And why are we still kind of in this weird space where we haven't moved forward that much? We're kind of like inching forward. The technology has been like, whoop, 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 and we're like, oh, okay, we need to be there, right? But in our business, we need to go forward with that passion side, right? All of these organizations who have found solutions for us being at home and being remote, that's awesome, right? We're all taking advantage. We got drop-in audio, we got Clubhouse, we got Twitter Spaces, we've got Uber Eats, we've got Grubhub and Seamless, and we've got all these like options of technology to deliver things to us. And now it's like, okay, we're feeding ourselves, we're nourished, we've got all these different options, but where's our passion? Where's that thing that, I just saw a Squarespace commercial with, I think it was Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 song, but flipped 5 to 9. What are you doing from 5 to 9 at night when you're in your own space and you're not working for anybody else but yourself? What is that passion? And how can you flip that to be your 9 to 5? How can you flip that to say, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for myself. How can I make this passion project? How can I make that profitable? How can I take that and run with it and say, people need to see this. People need to have whatever it is, my service or my product. People need to know that this exists, right? But when it comes down to it, it really is how energized you are about it. How energized it is that you are about pursuing that passion full time. And there's a lot of bumpy, rocky roads and a lot of mistakes to be had and a lot of errors to be fixed and all of those things. And that failure that you will have along the way is so great. And I know it's scary, but it's so great to know that, okay, so I messed up. And like, so what? Mess ups are amazing things to learn from. And that is like the genuine, like sugar on top. I'm super into sweets and I love it. If you haven't listened to my podcast, Sweet Bites with Sandra, I talk about business tips and digital marketing, but also sweets. So the cherry on top for having something fail is that you learn from it and you grow from it and you do like something amazing after it. And that's the best part. So if you're thinking about taking your passion and turning it into something, then I would suggest starting with my book and going through those 8 steps. If you want to find it, it's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, and it's on iBooks. And I really encourage you, even if you don't pick it up, even if you don't listen to my book, but you've already watched this video, is to pursue your passion, because there's so many times where we've looked back and been like, wow, I should have done something. I really should have done. I should have used that time. I should have used it and done something. And instead I kind of just, squandered the time or squandered the talent. Like that's what gets me, is when people are super talented and they don't use it. So I encourage you to use your talents and your skills and your ideas and your amazing innovation and put it out there, because it will be amazing to see what you hear back from people that you know, people you don't know, people that you're like, whoa, they really liked it. And it will help you get more comfortable in that place of, I'm my own boss. I'm my own entity. I'm doing my own thing, and not have to worry about other people providing you a paycheck, right? Because that's where a lot of people are. And it's horrible to think like paycheck to paycheck, or, how's that going to happen? And I know it's in a lot of the back of our minds all the time is, how am I going to pay rent? Or how am I going to pay my light bill? Or how am I going to get my cell phone bill taken care of? Or how am I going to do XYZ? Those questions will always be there. But if you pursue your passion and you can try and get those ideas out there, then at least you're going to say, well, at least I tried to do that. Instead of looking back and being like, yeah, I could have done that. Yeah, I should have done that. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. if you try it, then you at least have that to say, you know what, I pursued my passion. I really loved it. And maybe I wasn't cut out for it at the time, or maybe it really took off. Like what would that be if your idea or your passion and your business idea was like, bam, people love it, people want it, they buy it, and you're in a whole different space, right? So I encourage you to pursue your passion no matter what it is. Live your passion. And if you have any questions, I'm going to put it in the comments. You can certainly give me a shout at info@sandracoltonmedici.com. And I'm going to put up all my socials too, so that you can find me no matter where you live on social. You can always find me and tag me. If you're watching this, please make sure you put hashtag replay so that I know when you actually watched it. And if you have questions, put them in the comments, because I will see them and then I will try to reach back out to you and respond. I love, love, love working with people. I have collegeofstyle.com, which is launching in May. And I encourage you to go to collegeofstyle.com if you have a business, or if you're thinking about starting your own business, and signing up for the VIP waitlist today, because you are going to get access to early enrollment for College of Style if you sign up for the VIP the VIP sign up. Oh, Daniel is putting a comment. Hold on, let me put it up here. Hold on, let me get back to the other page. I want to put his comment up here because that's awesome. It says, I couldn't agree more. I started my brand, and seeing how people feel comfort and support in it is so satisfying. That is awesome, Daniel. And I'm so proud to have met you on LinkedIn and seeing that you are doing it. That's awesome. That is really great. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to support you. And, you know, I love, 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 like I said, reaching out and meeting people who are either in the beginning stages of their business, trying to figure out how to build their brand, or, you know, you're 5 years in and you're like, I need like a little help here. You know, I'm here for you too. So feel free, like I said, to make sure that you actually reach out to friends, family, or even myself to say, hey, I've got this idea. I need to get it started. Where do I start? I'm here to help you figure out those steps. And again, like I said, you can always tag me on social media and sign up for College with Style, and have a really, really, really great rest of your day, because it is so important. Just take a deep breath. It's you know, I love thinking about how we can all connect, but I also love that we can disconnect. Okay. So, oh, Daniel's asking me a question. Oh my gosh. So let me get back to the other screen really quick so I can answer his question. And let me get back. So let me post a question up here. He was asking, how was your journey until now? And what were the biggest struggles? So to answer your question, I think my journey up until now has been really like this. Boop, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down. And that is because life is not a straight line, right? Life does not just go straight through. I really think that having things go up and down is a blessing. Because if you just had it great and you're like, oh, ascending, my life is so great, right? I don't know, you know, if you would have a lot of those failures that you feel like are, you know, are building your inner confidence. You know, if you just had everything handed to you, I don't know, like I feel like I'd be like, hey, this is great. Now what do I do? But because I was kicked off of So You Think You Can Dance, I was the first person to be booted as far as the first season of a reality show. I think that I have this like wandering hair here. I apologize. I think that actually helped me to understand that not everything is guaranteed, right? And I think that you know, dealing with some of the social media aspect of being on TV and film and in the public spotlight has definitely been one of those things that people just don't wake up in the morning and like are cool with, you know, like they struggle to understand like why people anonymously write negative things on social media, or one thing that you might have done that you're like, oh my gosh, that's so great. And people really don't like it. Like there's tons of stuff that I think that people go through in the public spotlight, that not just me, but I think that people really have, to kind of sit back and go, I know who I am and I know what I do. And I think that that's how I get through any kind of struggle that I see, is like, I know who I am. I know what my values are. I know what my purpose is in life, and I'm going to go after it. So I hope that you do the same. I hope that you go after your goals and dreams, because life is too short to sit on the sideline. I'm always like, get in the game, get in that game, because if you're not in the game, it's hard to say that you tried all those ideas that you have in your head if you don't actually put yourself out there. And it's really hard. And that's why it's good to build up a support network, so that you have that, like, to fall back on if you're like, oh, this is a struggle. Oh, push me back up. So I hope that helps. Like I said, you can always reach out on email, info@SandraColtonMedici. I'm going to put it up again just in case you have another question or want to tag me, because I really want to hear from you. So have a really great day. And thank you so, so, so much for joining me.